Hi everyone, and welcome to What's New in Autodesk AutoCAD 2017. My name is Zanta from Repro Products in Smyrna, Georgia, and our presentation will cover the following. We'll take a look at what Repro Products has to offer for all of our customers and clients. We'll take a look at the top new features of AutoCAD 2017, as well as other additional new features of the software. And then we'll get into the actual software demonstration. For those who are not aware, Repro Products has been in business for well over 35 years. We are resellers for multiple companies, Xerox, Canon, OSE, and so on and so forth. We are an Autodesk Gold Partner Certified reseller, so we sell and support all of the Autodesk products. We also provide training and implementation and customization as well. We have a complete printing plotting division downstairs that handles all the printing and plotting of the small and wide format output. We also have a digital plan room. We also sell and support all the different types of printing devices as well. And we also have a 3D reality capture laser scanning Faro division. We also have a sister company called the Color Spot that's up in Marietta, and their focus is on vehicle graphics, signage, wayfaring, things of that sort. So if you are local, stop by and take a quick tour. So let's jump into the top features of AutoCAD 2017. When you start with the installation of the software and you get it up and running for the first time, it'll actually prompt you to enter either a serial number or a network license. Depending on which choice you've made, you'll have different types of results. You can enter your serial number and product key, for example, to just start using the product. You can use a network license as well if you have multiple users in the office and you're using FlexLM license management software. And then third, you can actually run the software as a trial. One of the top new features in AutoCAD 27 is the ability to import PDF files, but more importantly, extract geometry from that PDF file. Prior to 2017, you had the ability to import a PDF file and look at fading and contrast. And you could snap to the entities, and it was okay. But now you actually have the ability to export out that data as actual line work. And we'll see this when we get into the software. You have the ability to share all of your design views using the A360 feature, and basically you're allowing yourself to export that data out to your A360 account and use the online viewer to collaborate your content with others. They have a brand new Smart Centerline and Centermark feature within the 2017 software, and that allows you to create a centerline against two objects, and it adjusts accordingly if those two objects move. And also, it allows you to create a centerline mark for objects that need centering, and should you move the object, that centerline symbology stays with it. New as well is the Autodesk Desktop Application Management software, and basically it used to be called the Application Manager. They have revised it and cleaned it up so that it's easier for you to get updates, learn new content, get service packs, you name it. So those are the top new features. There are tons of other new features as well in AutoCAD 2017. And for our presentation purposes, we're going to take a look at a few of them today as well. They've improved the Migration Wizard tool to make it easier to understand and easier to migrate your content better than previous years. They've improved the 2D and the 3D performance of the software as well. And basically, things like jagged lines you're not going to really see anymore, even when you're actually in the move command, for example. And if you have a 3D view displayed and you do things like orbit or rotate, by default, Even with 3D acceleration turned on and all the enhancements, in 2016, and all the enhancements, in 2016, the image would go to wireframe. Now, in 2017, it'll hold its display resolution and its visual style. Dialog boxes as well have been adjusted and corrected so that you can actually resize them if you need to, so you can get a better view of what you're working with. The tooltip pop-up within AutoCAD now has the ability to be adjusted within the options dialog box for increasing or decreasing its speed and content. Another new feature is the ability to create hatching within AutoCAD 2017 on a brand new layer, even if that layer has not existed yet. And we'll see this when we get into the software. And then finally, another feature is when you work with a Navisworks coordination model and it's inserted into the AutoCAD 2017 software, the 2017 software has a much better understanding of the object snaps and gives you the ability to design against that coordination model better than the older version of, say, 2016. And that's it for all of the top and new features of AutoCAD 2017. At this point, let's jump into the software and take a look at those features. So here I am in AutoCAD 2017, and the first new feature I'd like to focus in on is the desktop application. And the way that functions is if you actually go to Start, Programs, Autodesk, and look for the Autodesk Desktop Application folder, you can start that application. That application will show up and it gives you this window. You can also access this window from your status toolbar in the lower right hand corner. And what you'll notice is that right off the bat, any updates that show up will show here. And guess what? 2016 Hotfix 2, 2017 64-bit Hotfix 2 has just been pushed out as of yesterday. So if I want to, I can click Update to install that particular update. As with any updates that you're working with for Autodesk products, you want to ensure that you don't have any Autodesk products up and running during the update. You also have the ability to click any one of the pieces of software icons, for example here, and you'll notice, for example, under AutoCAD, what the hotfix is or any update right off the bat. You'll get to learning videos and learning articles as well. So it's kind of a neat display dialog box that gives you access to different Autodesk software and learning content. Another new feature is the migration wizard that we talked about earlier in the PowerPoint has been updated. So if you click Start, All Programs, head to Autodesk, look at the specific particular product, for example AutoCAD, go to Migrate Custom Settings. If you select this command, what it does is it looks for any of the older versions of that particular software if it's installed on the machine. If it does, it finds all of the custom settings and standard settings, and it will ask you to, if you want to migrate them to the newest version. I don't have 2016 installed on the native desktop or the native laptop that I'm working with today. I do have 2016 software installed in a virtual machine environment, which we'll look at as well. So another new feature is looking at the way licensing functions in the software. And as I stated earlier, when you install the software and run it for the first time, you'll get the little dialog box that asks you what method of working are you going to use it for. Is it going to be standalone or is it going to be networked? If you're already in the software, you can actually go to the information toolbar in the upper right hand corner, and you can click About Autodesk AutoCAD 2017. It'll open up the window and you can click Manage License right here. This will open up a window and it will ask you and tell you what software you have, if it's coming from a suite, for example mine is, and you can click this little arrowhead drawer here to expand and get to the detailed data of your particular product. So a couple more enhancements to AutoCAD 2017 focuses in on the graphics and the display of content. For example, here I'm in AutoCAD 2017, and if I select this object and I try to copy this object, as I'm moving this object, you may or may not see that it's kind of jagged. As it stands now, it looks very clean and smooth, and the reason is because if we go down here to the lower right hand corner and look at the graphics settings for hardware performance, we have by default hardware acceleration turned on and all of the features. I'm going to temporarily turn it off and hit OK. And what you'll notice now is that if I try to do the exact same scenario, move or copy, you can start to see how it's very jittery and lines are kind of displaying, kind of not displaying as we're moving. Whereas again, if I go back to hardware acceleration and turn it on, then as I select the object and I decide to move or copy, you can see that there's no more jagged line work, there's no more jitteriness, and it's a cleaner, smoother flow, if you will. Another feature that they've introduced in 2017 is a lot of times when we look at objects such as lines that have gaps like this, if I try to use the move command, it can't really pick the spacing between. I can pick the line itself or the dot itself, but not in between. In AutoCAD 2017, there's a new system variable called LT gap selection, and if I look at that system variable, the default is 0, which is what it used to be, which is what it was in 2016 kind of mentality. If I change it to 1 and I hit enter, then if I use the move command, I can now just put my mouse over the space, see? And I can actually select it. I don't actually have to touch the line or the circle, I can just touch the space and I can get that object. Another feature in 2017 is the ability to resize certain dialog boxes. For example, if I use the insert command and I get the insert dialog box, if I look at particular blocks and things that I'm working with, you may or may not see an image, but sometimes that image is kind of small. But now you can just select that dialog box and resize it and get a better view of what you're working with. Another useful feature is tooltip pop-ups. When you put your mouse over a command, the tooltip pops up and tells you what the information is. Depending on which command that you're working with, if you leave it alone, it will expand and give you further data. You can always hit F1 to get to the actual help menu for that particular topic. What you're noticing is that there's a speed and there's a delay in the information that's being displayed. If I go to the options of the software and go to the display tab of the ribbon, you'll see show tooltips is on by default, and it tells you how many seconds before the display. So if I want to make it faster, I can say put in 0.25, so 1/4 of a second. And then for the extended tooltips data, it states number of seconds to delay. If you want that to go faster, we can just make that a lower number. I'll hit apply and OK, and now when you put your mouse over the object command, it pops up much faster and easier. Little things like that help with user improvement and user experience, if you will. Another useful new feature in AutoCAD 2017 has to deal with hatching and the layer of the hatch that you're working with. Here I am in AutoCAD 2017. When I use the hatch command, we can obviously pick a particular hatch. We can specify the color and things like that. Let's do something bright, say yellow. And by default, if we click inside here and hit enter, it creates the hatch. If we look at the particular properties of this object, you see it's on layer 0 and it has a color of yellow. When you use the hatch command and go under properties, you can see it says hatch layer override. It says use current, and you can force it to use a particular layer you already have in place. So let's say I set it to fireplace and I click inside and hit enter. If I select the properties of this hatch, you'll see it says it's under fireplace. There is in AutoCAD 2017 a new system variable called HP layer. And if I type in HP layer, the default is going to be either use current, which is a period, and whatever that current value is, which is 0, for example, right now, that's what it's going to use. It also remembers for the hatch pattern, if you did a hatch layer override in the drop-down contextual menu that we talked about earlier, right here, if this is specified to something else, say for example appliances, and I say HP layer again, it knows it goes to HP layers. But you can actually tell it to create a new value for a layer. So let's call it my custom new hatch layer 009. And so now that I've changed that HP layer system variable, if I go in here and I create a hatch for this particular location, and let's just for the sake of ease use a different color, and I make the hatch, if I select it and go to its properties now, you'll see it says my custom new hatch layer 009. So that's kind of a new feature, and it helps, it makes sense for some situations. A new feature that they have in AutoCAD 2017 that makes a lot of sense is the ability for you to use the text edit command on multiple pieces of text, one after the other. In other words, when you typically use this command, when you're finished, it takes you out of the command, and then you have to enter the command again and select another piece of text to modify that data. Now you have the ability to start the command, do whatever you need to do on that one particular one, click out in space and click another piece of text and do whatever changes you need, and then keep going this way. Kind of it's a time saver. It's a good 1-2 second time saver, and if you have a lot of text to work with, text objects to work with, it makes a big deal. Another new feature in 2017 AutoCAD is the ability to introduce center lines for objects and center marks for objects. Here in the Annotate tab of the ribbon, under Centerlines panel, you can click Center Line. And then you can go in here and you can pick two objects, for example these two objects, and it will put in a green center line that basically bisects these two objects. If you notice very carefully, this line here and this line here are not perfectly horizontal. If I decide to take this and move this, it's going to adjust the center line as well and hold that relationship. You also have the center mark symbol that you can use on an object, for example here, and it places that center line symbol. That center line symbol, even if you move the original object, holds with that original object. And you can obviously scale it and get it larger or smaller, and it keeps that relationship. So a nice couple of new features as well in 2017. A really nice new feature in AutoCAD 2017 is the ability to work with PDFs a little better. For example, I have this particular file here that's a PDF, and if I select it, you'll see that you have PDF underlay contextual tab in the ribbon is showing. And you can do things and make changes such as, fading and contrast, which is pretty typical. You can clip it and remove it like you typically do. But now they have a new command called import as objects. And the way that this functions is it allows you to select an area to extract out into simple line work. And so it's really quote-unquote going from raster to vector, if you will. Now there is a caveat to this particular new feature though that we found out. If you go to your XREF dialog box and look at that particular PDF file, go to its path and ensure that it's absolute. If it's set to relative, the command will not work. So if I set it to absolute, as I select that PDF file, I can use import as objects. I can select a region for it to pull the data, and it will automatically pull out that data. And now I can see that I have actual line work. Okay? So that's a nice feature as well, to take a PDF and the contents of a PDF and extract it out as line work. Another feature that they have in 2017 AutoCAD is the ability for you to share your views quickly and easily up in the cloud to your Autodesk account and share that data to others. So again, here I am in AutoCAD 2017. If I go to the A360 tab of the ribbon, you'll see Share Design View. If I select this, I can actually tell it to do one of two things: publish and display in the browser now, or publish and notify me when complete. Depending on which one you click will give you a certain result. I'm going ahead and click publish and notify me when complete, and what happens is it processes the data. When it's finished, I'll get an email. I can click the link in the email and it will display the data. You'll also get a tooltip pop up here when that process is complete. If I head over to my browser, I already have my email and I've already clicked the link, and it automatically takes you to the A360 viewer online, and it takes you directly to your uploads to that particular file. And you can pick any particular view that you had in the file, and it shows you that content. So it's a nice, neat way of displaying the data and sharing that information. So even, for example, under Sheets, Share Design View Sheet, you see that information. You also have navigation and basic functionality commands down here. You've got pan, you've got zoom, you've got camera interaction, you can measure against, you can actually do a live interactive review chatting with other people. You can look at the layer management of any of the content, you can look at the properties of any of the content, and go to the settings of this particular HTML based viewer. And then you can go full screen if you need to. Another feature in AutoCAD 2017 is the ability for you to bring in Navisworks coordination models and really draw against them better with snapping features. So here I am in a AutoCAD file. If I go ahead and use my XREF command, I can use down here and click Attach Coordination Model. I can tell the software to go get that particular file, and we'll select our particular file and hit Open. The Attach Coordination Model window will show up and it'll ask us how we want to insert it. We'll insert the file as with the default settings. And as you can see, your Navisworks coordination model is a little bit more visible than before. You do have the ability to select it and adjust things like color fading and opacity fading if you need to as well. I typically like to keep it really bright so I can get a good handle on what I'm looking at. And then, because you now have in 2017 a bit more intelligence with the Navisworks coordination model, if I try to design against it, for example, if I use the box command and I have my snaps turned on, you'll see that it snaps to objects faster and easier. So let's zoom in a little bit, and you can see it snapping pretty nicely. Whereas in 2016 and older, the snapping really didn't actually catch. It was very difficult to get the end snap point and other snaps to recognize the Navisworks content. So those are all the new features and top features in the Autodesk AutoCAD 2017 software. Thank you guys very much for watching the presentation. I hope you had a chance to see and enjoy what you've seen. If you have any questions or any concerns, you need training, you need tech support, anything in that respect, just let me know. Give me a call or shoot me an email, and we can help you out. Thank you very much for watching.